Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment that the life you dream about is already yours. The wealth, the freedom, the respect, the love, all of it, here, now, woven into the fabric of your days as naturally as the breath you take in this moment. Most people scoff at this idea. They believe they must first see it to believe it. But what if that is precisely why they remain stuck, waiting for life to deliver proof before they dare to live as if they deserve it? Today, I invite you to consider a rebellion of a quieter sort, a subtle yet radical act that can tilt your entire existence. Act as if. Not in the shallow sense of pretending for others, but in the deep, transformative sense of becoming the very energy of what you want before it arrives. If you grasp this, if you truly listen and feel the weight of these words, you may never beg reality for scraps again. You will command it to respond. Stay with me, because what follows is not wishful thinking. It is an ancient dance between thought, feeling, and the unseen mechanics of the universe. If you absorb this and dare to live it, your days of waiting will be over. The mind is a remarkable trickster. It cannot distinguish between what is and what is vividly imagined. This is your leverage. When you act as if you already possess what you seek, your nervous system aligns with that vision. Your decisions shift. You begin to speak with conviction rather than hesitation. You walk taller, breathe deeper, choose differently. Life notices. The world is pliable to those who believe they are worthy of bending it. Many live chained to circumstance. They wake up each day and take instruction from what they see. Empty bank accounts, lonely bedrooms, restless nights. So they wait. They say, once I have more money, I'll feel abundant. Once I find love, I'll feel lovable. But it is backward. The universe is a mirror, not a generator. It reflects your vibration. It does not manufacture it for you. You must go first. You must step out before the bridge appears. You must dress yourself in the confidence of wealth, the glow of love, the ease of freedom. Even when your outer world shows you the opposite. This is the essence of faith in motion. Not hoping quietly, but behaving boldly. Small acts can shift entire realities. How would you carry yourself if you knew your dream job was inevitable? How would you speak if you were certain your words carried weight? How would you stand, sit, breathe, and decide if you were already the person you claim you wish to be? These questions are not poetic. They are instructions. Every small action that aligns with your future self is a signal to your subconscious. This is who I am now. Repeated enough times, that signal becomes your new default. Your thoughts no longer argue with your vision, they support it. Your habits no longer sabotage your goals, they escort them to your doorstep. Acting as if is not delusion. It is disciplined imagination. It is refusing to let your senses dictate the limit of your possibility. When you act as if, you generate the feeling of arrival before the destination appears on the map. Life then races to catch up with your certainty. Some will say, but isn't this lying to myself? No. The only lie is the belief that you must remain small until proof says otherwise. This technique does not require you to pretend to others. It asks you to become the version of yourself that your soul already recognizes. As you leave these words behind and step back into your life, remember this: you hold the paintbrush, not the world. Your reality is shaped by the story you dare to live now. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. Act as if. Walk as if. Speak as if. Decide as if. And watch how the unseen forces of existence bend to a mind and heart certain of what they are here to claim. Let the world catch up. You are already there. When you hear the words, act as if, you might shrug them off as child's play, as if it's just a game of make-believe meant for idle dreamers. But what if this so-called pretending was the very lever that lifts you out of your current life and into the reality you crave? Beneath the surface of this idea lies a truth so simple that most overlook it. Every reality you wish to create must first be rehearsed in the unseen realm of your mind. It starts not with evidence, but with an attitude, an energy, a deliberate choice to embody what you want before the world has any clue it's coming. When you act as if, you do not lie, you align. You become a magnet for the life you claim to want, not through begging or desperate affirmations shouted at a blank ceiling, but through the quiet power of assumption. The mind, that strange and unruly creature, cannot resist a well-crafted illusion. Feed it the feeling that you are already wealthy, loved, powerful, or healed, and it will begin working tirelessly to make this fiction factual. It hunts for proof, organizes chance encounters, pushes you to make choices that the older, doubtful version of you would never dare to make. Consider how children play. A child picks up a stick and it becomes a sword. They puff out their chest and suddenly they are a knight, a queen, a hero. And within their world, they are. There is no part of them that second guesses the game. This is where so many adults fail. They dismiss this childlike state as immaturity, never realizing it was always the gateway to shaping reality. They wait for proof before they allow themselves to become. They crave guarantees before they leap, forgetting that the leap itself is the guarantee. When you act as if, you do not deny your current circumstances. You do not stand in a freezing room pretending to be warm, wishing the cold away. You stand there and embody the energy of the warmth you invite, and suddenly perceive the choices that will get you there. Maybe you light a fire, maybe you leave the room, maybe you remember you own a coat you never thought to wear. The difference is subtle but profound. You do not fight reality. You direct it. It's not about grand theatrics. You don't have to walk around announcing your greatness to everyone you meet. In fact, true acting as if is inward. It's the soft, persistent rehearsal of a self-permission that overrides the crust of old beliefs. It shows up in small choices that ripple outward. You sit differently at the table. You speak more carefully to yourself. You notice the quiet voice that says, "This is beneath me now," when you catch yourself about to settle for less. You start to treat your time with reverence, because the person you're becoming would never waste it. This unseen power of pretending is what every great artist, inventor, leader, and mystic has touched in their own way. They did not wait for permission. They did not consult the masses to see if their dream was realistic. They acted not in delusion, but in defiance of the limits that the world had placed upon them. They wore the crown before the kingdom arrived. They spoke the words of their future long before an audience gathered to listen. They held the vision of abundance while their pockets were still empty. So why not you? Why not now? To act as if is to whisper to reality, I am ready. It is to prime your senses for opportunity, to hold open the door for blessings that would otherwise pass you by unnoticed. When you pretend you are already who you wish to be, you break the hypnotic trance of your old self. You train your mind to scan for new paths, new people, new openings. The world does not remain static when you shift internally. It bends, reshapes, and adjusts to meet the vibration you insist upon holding. This is uncomfortable at first. There will be moments when your current reality screams in protest. The bank account's still empty, the phone's silent, the mirror reflecting back the same face with the same tired eyes. But here is where most people falter. They peak too soon. They break the spell. They drop the act because the world hasn't applauded yet. They fail to understand that reality takes time to catch up to a mind that has outgrown its old script. Your job is not to time the delivery. Your job is to keep the act alive long enough for reality to buckle under the weight of your certainty. This is the unseen power of pretending. To live inside the echo of a reality that does not yet exist for the world but has already arrived for you. It is not foolishness. It is the only way anything ever changes. Act as if. Not because you are naive enough to believe that pretending alone makes miracles, but because pretending shifts you into the only state where miracles can recognize you. The mind is a curious thing, obedient yet stubborn, rational yet wildly impressionable. Most people never truly grasp that their subconscious mind, the silent architect of their entire life, cannot tell the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is physically real. This is not a poetic metaphor. It is biological fact. When you truly understand this, you see how acting as if becomes not a hollow performance, but a master key that unlocks doors you once thought were sealed shut. Think about how fear works. You can be lying safely in your bed, the night calm and uneventful, yet a single thought, an intruder, a shadow, a half-remembered horror story, can send your heart racing, your palms sweating, your breath shallow. Nothing real has happened, but your body behaves as if the threat is real. Why? Because your subconscious accepts the imagined danger as fact and commands your body to react accordingly. This same mechanism, when turned toward your desires, becomes your greatest ally. When you act as if you already possess what you want, you communicate directly with this impressionable mind. You bypass logic and skepticism. You slip past the guards that say, this isn't possible. This is not who you are. You don't deserve this. Instead, you feed your subconscious a new script. This is who I am now. And because it does not know the difference, it responds. It adjusts your habits, your posture, your energy, your words. It begins to filter your reality for evidence that supports this new identity. Suddenly, ideas come to you that you never saw before. Paths open up that your old mind, stuck in its old beliefs, would have walked right past. You see this in the most mundane places. An actor preparing for a role must convince their mind and body to live in another skin. They study the character until the line between reality and performance blurs. The greatest actors don't pretend, they become, and the audience feels it. It's the same principle when you act as if. You become your future self in the present moment so convincingly that life itself feels compelled to catch up. Some dismiss this as fake it till you make it, but there is nothing fake about it when done with intention and consistency. Faking implies deception. Acting as if implies alignment. It means you are no longer waiting for permission from your surroundings to become who you wish to be. You declare it inwardly first, and then outwardly through your choices. Imagine a person who wants to be healthy and strong, but sees only weakness in the mirror. If they wait for the mirror to show them muscles and vitality before they feel strong, they will never move. But if they stand tall, breathe deeply, move their body with respect, choose nourishing food, and carry themselves like someone who loves their own skin, the subconscious mind notices. It does not care that the six-pack isn't there yet, or that the stamina still lags behind. It only cares about the repeated signals. I am strong. I am worthy of health. Over time, the body, mind, and actions align with this new identity. The mirror changes because the mind changed first. Or think of abundance. So many long for wealth, yet live in poverty, thinking, they say, once I have more, I'll feel abundant. But the subconscious only sees the feelings of lack. Acting as if you are abundant means not reckless spending, but an energy of sufficiency. To treating your time, your words, and your surroundings with the respect and order of someone who values what they have and expects more. The mind absorbs this vibration. Opportunities appear. You notice ways to increase value that were invisible before. The mind cannot distinguish between a reality vividly felt and a reality seen with eyes. This is why visualization works, why athletes rehearse their victories in silence long before they step onto the field, why speakers calm stage fright by imagining roaring applause in empty rooms. They are not tricking themselves. They are training themselves. They are instructing the subconscious to treat the outcome as inevitable. To act as if is to place your subconscious on a new track. Left unchecked, the mind will replay old stories. I can't. I don't have enough. I'm not ready. But when you consistently live from a new story, I already am. I already have. I am already ready. Your mind must obey. It must rewrite the patterns that shape your words, your actions, and the subtle cues you send into the world. This is why your mind is your greatest tool and your greatest trap. Use it carelessly, and it replays your worst fears. Use it consciously, and it can remake your life from the inside out. So do not wait for proof to act. Do not wait for the world to give you permission to believe. The mind you carry within you holds more power than the world ever will. Feed it carefully. Command it gently but firmly. And above all, remember this simple, profound secret. The mind does not know the difference. Teach it what to believe, and watch your world obey. Between who you are now and who you long to be stretches an invisible bridge, a crossing that only you can build. Most people stand at the edge of their present life, peering at the distant shore of their dreams. Wealth, freedom, deep love, meaningful work, and they wonder how they will ever span that impossible gap. They make lists, they read books, they wait for signs. They stand still, hoping life will somehow lay planks under their feet as they move. But the truth, so simple and so often ignored, is this. You are the builder of that bridge, plank by plank, moment by moment, through the art of acting as if. Acting as if is not about deceit or arrogance. It is the quiet, courageous rehearsal of a self that already exists within you, waiting for your permission to step forward. It is the daily embodiment of your desired future, not in grand gestures shouted for the world's applause, but in subtle shifts that rewire your very sense of identity. The bridge is built from 1,000 tiny choices that stack up silently until one day you look behind and see how far you have crossed. Consider for a moment a person who feels small and invisible in a crowded room. They want to be heard, respected, perhaps even admired, but they sit back, hunch their shoulders, speak in hesitant tones, and shrink their own presence to match the story they carry inside. They are standing on one side of the bridge. On the other side is the version of themselves that stands tall, speaks clearly, enters a room, and leaves an impression. How does one cross this chasm? Not by waiting for someone to come and anoint them worthy, not by gathering evidence that they deserve to be seen, but by embodying today, in this moment, the posture, the voice, the energy of the one they wish to be. Small steps. Lift your head, open your shoulders, hold someone's gaze for a heartbeat longer. Speak one sentence with the conviction you usually reserve for your private thoughts. These are the first planks of the bridge. Alone, each one seems insignificant, easy to dismiss, but together they form the path that your subconscious will follow until your outer reality must adjust to your inner change. We often believe that the transformation comes first, the new job, the money, the relationship, and then we become the version of ourselves that matches it. But this is backwards. The bridge appears when you dare to carry yourself as the person who already has it. When you speak as if the promotion is inevitable, you make choices as a leader now. When you walk as if love surrounds you, you radiate warmth that draws it near. When you treat your work as if it already matters deeply to the world, you pour your spirit into it fully, and the world takes notice. You're there but will not. The bridge is your responsibility, because the present you is not equipped to live the future you dream about. Your habits, beliefs, and energy must evolve before the reality can arrive. Acting as if is the rehearsal, the training ground for the life you say you want. Without this daily rehearsal, you remain unprepared for the opportunity, even if it knocks on your door. This is where so many people falter. They dabble in acting as if for a day or two, feel silly, see no immediate results, and abandon the bridge halfway built. They stand stranded in the middle, feeling foolish for daring to dream. But the magic lies in devotion to the practice. You do not cross a vast chasm in one leap. You do it in a series of small acts that your mind absorbs as truth. Think of an athlete visualizing the wind. They see it so vividly that when the moment arrives, their body responds with a familiarity that defies doubt. Think of an artist imagining the gallery walls lined with their work long before a single canvas sells. They act as if they belong there, so their art carries that confidence. The bridge they build is not a fantasy, it is a necessity. Without it, they remain stuck on the bank of wishing. Every version of you that you long to meet is already calling you forward. The voice that whispers, maybe I could be that brave, that free, that abundant, is your future self reaching back, asking you to build the crossing. No one else can lay these planks for you. No one else will tell you the exact steps. You must craft them through your own quiet choices. How you wake up, how you speak to yourself, how you stand when no one is watching, how the bridge is built when you decide to live, not from memory, but from vision. To let the old self fade like a ghost behind you, while you step, sometimes trembling but always forward, into the skin of who you choose to become. The bridge is not a fantasy. It is the realest thing you will ever create, because it is built from your own becoming. And when you arrive, you will see it was never about pretending at all. It was about remembering what you were always capable of crossing. When people talk about the law of attraction, they often reduce it to idle wishing or repeating positive phrases, like a parrot hoping the universe will deliver a prize at the doorstep. But the truth is far more subtle and far more demanding. Life does not respond to hollow words. It responds to frequency. The energy you carry, the tone of your thoughts, the feel of your emotions, the posture of your very being sends out a vibration that acts like a signal. And that signal calls back to you people, circumstances, and opportunities that match it perfectly. This is why acting as if is not a performance for the outside world, but a quiet, profound recalibration of your inner world to the vibration of what you claim you want. If you say you want love, but live in the frequency of bitterness, distrust, and fear, then life mirrors back coldness and walls. If you say you want abundance, yet carry yourself in constant worry about lack, then your signal repels wealth and invites more scarcity. But when you act as if, truly embodying the feeling that your desire is already here, you begin to hum at the same pitch as the life you are calling in. And the universe, with all its unseen connections and improbable alignments, starts to bend toward you in response. Think of the way you can tell when someone feels rich long before they ever tell you their bank balance. It is not about flaunting or bragging. It is a calm certainty in their choices, the relaxed ease in their movements, the generosity in their presence. You sense that they live in the frequency of enough. This is not about expensive clothes or flashy cars. It's about the subtle vibration that radiates from their spirit, an unspoken agreement with life that says, I trust that what I need flows to me. The material world catches up to that signal like iron filings dancing toward a magnet. When you act as if, you bring this frequency into your daily life long before the proof appears. This is the secret few are willing to practice, because it asks for faith without evidence. It asks you to wake up each morning and put on the vibration of your dream like a cloak, to carry yourself as the loved, the chosen, the prosperous, the powerful, not in arrogance, but in quiet certainty. You do not boast to others. You do not need to. The frequency does the speaking for you. A person who desires success but walks through life apologizing for their existence will always chase it at arm's length. But when they stand up and wear the energy of someone who trusts their own worth, doors open, conversations shift. People lean in to listen because they feel something steady and unwavering behind the words. The vibration makes the difference. You cannot fake frequency. You cannot stand in front of a mirror repeating, I am wealthy, while your shoulders droop and your heart clenches in fear. The body must believe it too. This is why acting as if is not just mental, it's physical. It's how you breathe when you walk into a room. It's whether you hold your gaze or look away. It's whether you spend your last coin in a panic or with a quiet knowing that more will come. The frequency you live in is your true message to life, no matter what words your mouth may say. When you embody the vibration of your future self, you become a lighthouse. Imagine someone wanting love. They can sit alone, wishing for it, and yet radiate an energy of distrust and guardedness that keeps people away. Or they can sit alone, and feel full of warmth, gratitude, and openness. And suddenly the chance encounter, the new friendship, the meaningful conversation finds them. It's not magic in the childish sense. It's resonance. Life cannot help but return to you the echo of what you broadcast. This is why small daily choices matter. Acting as if does not mean lying to your creditors about money you don't have, or pretending to own things you cannot afford. It means living in the energy of sufficiency now, keeping your space clean, as if you believe you are worthy of order and beauty. Spending within your means, but without the vibration of panic. Speaking of your future plans with the calm tone of someone who trusts they will unfold. Paying attention to details that your future self would care about, because each detail shifts your vibration closer to your desired state. Everything is energy, whether we acknowledge it or not, and your dominant energy shapes what you receive. When you act as if you already have what you want, you collapse the delay between the wish and the manifestation. You stand in the field of your desire so completely that life's only option is to meet you there. Begin now, not tomorrow, not when the bank account swells or the lover appears or the recognition arrives. Start now. Wake up and wrap yourself in the invisible fabric of your desired life. Carry it in your spine, your words, your kindness, your confidence. Walk into every day humming with the vibration of what is coming, until quite suddenly it is no longer coming at all. It is here because you brought it with you. Most people spend their entire lives shackled to their circumstances, blind to the fact that it is not the outer world that holds them prisoner, but the story they repeat to themselves about what is possible. They wake up each morning and read the same script. This is who I am, this is what I can have, this is what I deserve. If the bank balance is low, they feel poor. If the mirror shows age, they feel old. If no one calls, they feel unloved. And so their emotions become obedient servants to whatever their senses deliver. They are forever at the mercy of the visible world, but acting as if tears up that tired script and demands that life obey a new one. It is an act of quiet rebellion against the lie that you must wait for your circumstances to change before you can feel free, abundant, worthy, or whole. It says, I will decide how I feel now, and the world will adjust to catch up with my certainty. This is how people break free from the prison of circumstance. Not by fighting it directly, but by refusing to be defined by what they see. Think of the stories we admire most. The entrepreneur who built an empire from nothing. The artist who painted masterpieces in a cold attic. The mother who turned scraps into feasts and a tiny house into a sanctuary of warmth. These people did not wait for proof that they were powerful. They chose to feel powerful long before life gave them permission. They acted as if they were already free from lack, already living in abundance, already worthy of love, already standing on solid ground. They did not let the broken pieces around them dictate the shape of their spirit. When you act as if, you become the architect of your emotional state instead of its victim. You choose to feel rich in gratitude when there is little money. You choose to feel attractive and desirable before anyone says the words. You choose to walk with purpose before the dream job appears. This does not mean you ignore reality. It means you stop letting reality chain you to the past version of yourself. The prison walls are invisible but powerful. Old beliefs, inherited fears, tired excuses. And every day you wake up and agree with them. you reinforce them. The bars get thicker, the door locks tighter. But when you wake up and say, "Today I stand," as if the door is already open, something shifts. A small piece of the wall crumbles, a light cracks through. You see possibilities you were blind to before because your mind was busy counting what you didn't have. Most people never try this because they fear looking foolish, to themselves or to others. They think, who am I to pretend I'm successful when my debts are piling up? Who am I to feel confident when I've been rejected again and again? But the real question is, who are you not to? Who are you to argue for your limitations as if they deserve your loyalty? Acting as if is not about lying to the world. It is about telling the truth to your soul, that you are more than your current circumstances, that your power to feel and believe cannot be confiscated by your environment. When you break free from this prison, the walls of your outer world begin to crack too. You notice new ideas, you notice people who were always there but now seem to carry keys to your next chapter. You feel braver about taking risks because you are no longer waiting for guarantees. And so life begins to shift, not because you begged it to, but because you stop treating your circumstances like a god. Acting as if reclaims your authorship over your days. It gives you back the pen that you unknowingly handed to your bank balance, your past mistakes, your critics, your failures. It says, "Thank you for the lesson, but I will write the next lines from here." It is not arrogance, it is radical self-respect. You respect yourself enough to refuse to be defined by what you see. You insist on being defined by what you believe is possible. The prison dissolves. Each act, each choice, each thought that aligns with your desired reality chips away at the old walls. You become someone who is free, not because the world changed overnight, but because you stopped waiting for it to. You became the change that forced the world to catch up. Your circumstances are not your cage. Your agreement with them is. Stop agreeing. Decide today to act as if you are already out. Walk through the day as if the chains have fallen, as if the gate is wide open, and you will see, slowly at first, then all at once, that the only thing keeping you locked in was the belief that the lock was real. When people first hear about acting as if, they imagine grand gestures, expensive cars they can't afford, lavish parties thrown on credit, bold announcements of success that hasn't arrived yet. But the true magic of this practice does not live in reckless performance or empty declarations. It lives in the small, consistent choices you make when no one is watching. It is the tiny shifts in how you carry yourself, how you speak to yourself, how you move through the world that slowly yet powerfully rewire your reality to reflect the life you say you want. Small acts, when rooted in unwavering belief, create massive shifts over time. Consider the difference between someone who sees themselves as worthy of success and someone who secretly doubts it. The one who believes they are worthy might stand a little taller in meetings. They might speak up when they'd usually stay silent. They'll polish their shoes before an interview, show up 5 minutes early, look others in the eye instead of looking down. These are small things, almost invisible to the outside world, but each one is a silent vote for their future. Each one is a message to the subconscious. This is who I am now. The mind is not transformed by wishful thoughts alone. It is transformed by evidence. Every time you choose to act in line with the person you want to become, you give your mind fresh proof. You show your nervous system a new pattern. You chip away at the old beliefs that said you were unworthy, unlucky, or incapable. Over time, the old story weakens, and the new one grows strong roots. Imagine someone longing for abundance. yet living in clutter and neglect. They dream of wealth, but their environment reflects neglect and scarcity. A small act might be to tidy a corner of their home, to replace a broken item, to hang a piece of art that lifts their spirit. Tiny actions, but each one whispers, I am someone who deserves beauty, order, care. Over time, this shift changes how they feel in their own skin. It changes how they spend their time, how they treat their money, how they see opportunities that match this new sense of worth. It is the same with love. Someone aching for deep connection, but living like they're invisible, will stay invisible until they change something subtle but powerful. How they enter a room, how they greet others, how they make eye contact, how they listen. They begin to act as if they are already loved and seen. They smile more. They hold themselves with quiet dignity. They stop apologizing for existing. These small acts radiate an energy that draws people in. They do not beg for love. They become someone who naturally attracts it. The beauty of these small acts is that they are within reach right now. They do not require permission, money, applause, or proof. They are yours to claim in this very moment. You can choose to stand up straight, to speak with care, to dress in a way that honors your future self. You can choose to spend your time like someone who values their time, saying no to what drains you, yes to what expands you. You can choose to spend $1 with gratitude instead of fear, to offer a compliment instead of withholding it, to show up prepared instead of coasting through your days on autopilot. What happens next is not instant magic. The world may not respond overnight, but you will feel different. And when you feel different, you do different things. You make different choices. You see different paths. These tiny ripples become waves that reshape the shoreline of your reality. People often overlook this because it seems too simple. They chase secret rituals, complex formulas, exotic answers. But the secret has always been in the mundane moments you repeat daily. The conversation with yourself in the mirror, the way you respond to setbacks. Do you spiral or do you stand up and adjust your crown? The way you handle money, your space, your friendships, these all send signals to your subconscious about what you expect from life. Small acts tell the universe you are serious. They tell life you are ready. They tell your mind, this is not a game. This is who I am becoming, brick by brick. The power is not in the grand, fleeting gestures, but in the consistent devotion to your future self. If you want massive shifts, do not search for some dramatic moment when it all changes at once. Look instead at your next tiny action, the way you speak on the phone, the way you answer an email, the way you breathe when you feel fear creeping in. These are your tools, humble but mighty. In these tiny, consistent choices, you are building the life you claim to want. Not tomorrow, now, in this very breath, in this very step. And step by step, the small becomes massive, and your old life fades behind you, replaced by the reality you patiently and bravely rehearsed all along. To act as if is to place your faith in motion. This is not the shallow faith that clings to hope while secretly feeding on doubt. It is a deeper, quieter commitment that lives in your actions when no one is watching. Most people think of faith as a feeling, an emotion that wells up in moments of inspiration. But real faith is not passive. It is a force that demands to be proven true by the way you live, decide, and carry yourself long before any evidence appears in your hands. Acting as if is the living proof of what you claim to believe. It is how you show the universe, and more importantly, your own subconscious mind, that you trust the vision you hold in your heart more than the reality you see with your eyes. It is easy to say you believe in abundance when your pockets are full. It is easy to feel worthy of love when your phone buzzes with attention and praise. But what do you do when the bank account is low, when the house is quiet, when the world seems indifferent to your dreams? That is where true faith shows its face, not as a whispered prayer, but as a decision. I will live today as if I already have what I desire. I will carry myself like someone who knows it is coming. Think of a gardener planting seeds in barren soil. There is no sign of green yet, only dirt and silence. But the gardener waters the ground faithfully. They protect the soil from pests. They stand guard over what looks like nothing because they know it is not nothing. The seed holds a promise hidden from view. Acting as if is the watering of your invisible seeds. It is not blind hope. It is the patient tending of reality that must arrive if you do not abandon it too soon. To live this way is to rebel against the part of you that wants proof before it acts. The mind loves guarantees. It wants evidence to feel safe. But life rarely grants the comfort of certainty in advance. The bridge appears when you walk. The harvest comes when you believe the seeds are worth tending. If you wait to see sprouts before you water the soil, you'll stand in the same patch of dirt your whole life, calling it barren, where in truth it was only neglected. Faith in motion means your actions match your declarations. You don't just say, I want to be successful. You show up to your work as if the world is already watching. You polish your craft when no one claps yet. You manage the money you have as if you trust more will come because you have proven yourself a worthy steward. You clean your home and treat your body with care as if you are already living inside the life you dream about. These gestures are not for show. They are not for the approval of others. They are private conversations between you and the future you claim is yours. When you act as if, you train your subconscious to accept this new identity as normal. Your thoughts begin to revolve around it. Your choices lean toward it. You stop contradicting your own desires with habits that sabotage them. Many people speak of faith but live as if they expect disappointment. They talk about wanting love but prepare for rejection. They wish for prosperity but treat money like a threat or a fleeting guest. They ask for new doors but stand frozen at the old ones. Acting as if is the antidote to this hidden doubt. It breaks the loop. It says, I refuse to sit passively waiting for proof that I am worthy of this life. I will live like someone who is worthy now, even in the silence, even in the emptiness, even in the face of what looks like lack. This is where your faith gains muscle. Anyone can believe when results are obvious. It is when the results are invisible that your faith earns its power. When you stand tall despite the noise of your fears, you send out a vibration that the universe cannot ignore. Opportunities find you because you walk with the posture of someone ready to receive them. People treat you differently because they feel the quiet certainty in your presence. To act as if is to hold out your hands for rain while the sky is still clear. It is to build the storehouse before the harvest arrives. It is to dress for the occasion of your own becoming, not because you are pretending, but because you understand that reality has no choice but to take shape around the energy you live in. So let your faith be more than a wish. Make it a ritual. Make it visible in the details of how you move through your day. Live now as if your future self is watching, because in truth, that self is waiting for you on the other side of your courage. Keep walking toward it. Keep acting as if. And watch as the invisible becomes visible, because you did not just hope. You dare to live the hope out loud. When you stand back and look at all of this, you see the truth that has been whispering through your life all along. The world you live in is not some rigid, immovable structure pressing its limits on you. It is a mirror bending and shifting according to the story you dare to tell about yourself. Acting as if is not a performance for the world's applause. It is the quiet, daily revolution that transforms the unseen into the seen. It is your proof to yourself that you are more powerful than your past, your excuses, and your circumstances combined. To act as if is to step ahead of your own reflection. It is to greet your future before it knocks. It is to become the version of you who no longer begs, waits, or hopes helplessly, but one who embodies what they desire so convincingly that the universe must respond in kind. You do not wait for the world to catch up. You lead it there. With your unwavering belief, your subtle shifts, your relentless small acts of faith. You are the gardener, planting seeds that must break the ground because you water them every single day, even when the soil looks bare. You are the bridge builder, crossing the gap between where you stand and where you long to be, plank by plank, choice by choice. You are the architect, rewriting the script of what is possible, refusing to surrender your spirit to what your eyes see now. Carry yourself today as the one you have always known yourself to be, under the layers of doubt and habit. Worthy, powerful, abundant, loved. Speak, move, and decide as if life is conspiring to meet you halfway, because it is. And when you feel the old fear tugging at your sleeve, tempting you back to the small, familiar life, remember this: you do not need permission to live the reality you choose to claim. The permission is given the moment you act as if. And when you do, the world, which has always been listening more closely than you knew, will whisper back, with doors you never saw before, with people who feel like answers, with moments that feel like miracles, but are in truth just the natural result of you finally becoming the vibration you were always meant to hold. So act as if, again and again, until your outer life has no choice but to match the truth you decided to live.